What's good, family, and welcome back to the world of Prince. And today's video is going to be Drag Race recap, where we take a deep dive in this week's episode and I give my opinions on it. So without any further ado, let's get into this video. So last week we had to say goodbye to our good Judy Silky Nutmeg Ganache. So the episode was basically opening up with Trinity basking in her win from last week. What was gaggy is that it was revealed once the girls started taking out the lipsticks and seeing who chose who, that basically the votes were split between Silky and Akira, with Silky only receiving one more vote, which was the reason why she won, which is gaggy. It's like, damn, half the votes. That's like never happened before, really, where they revealed it, and it's like it's a split decision between the group. So it was kind of gaggy, honestly. Other news, Jan is still in denial that she was in the bottom. Like, girl, you were in the bottom. Just face it. So on to this week's Maxi Challenge, which is the Hall of Fame halftime show, where the girls have to pick a halftime show diva, like someone who performed at the Super Bowl, and embody their presence and portray them on stage. Back in the workroom, the girls are saying who they're going to be. The two standouts for me was Raja saying that she was going to play Diana Ross, and Trinity saying she was going to play Beyonce. You know, obviously Beyonce and Diana Ross are two figures that people know very well, so they have little isms that you can pick up on and that are pretty well known, and those are two performers that I think can do very well. So those are the two standouts for me, just based upon what the girls were talking about in the workroom. So there were two standout moments from this little rehearsal with Jamal Sims to me. The first being Yara Sophia talking too damn much. She was like, no, secure hands should go like this, and this. Like, I was like, girl, shut the hell up. Like, he's the choreographer. They're not going to be judging you on how accurately you are doing Shakira's move. They're judging you on your overall performance. I think she was just so focused on, oh, I know Shakira so much. No, her hands do this, and sometimes she do this. Like, girl, shut that fuck up. He's the choreographer. He's going to make you look good. You just need to do the choreography well, is what I was thinking. The other standout was, of course, Trinity Cable. Nay, like, just from the practice, she just seemed to be catching on to the moves like that. And she had, like, most of the girls just shaking, honestly. Eureka, more specifically, she was talking about, like, should the rest of us just go home? Because Trinity was really serving it, I guess. I mean, from what they showed, she was serving it, but whatever else they showed, Trinity must have been eating because they were shaking, okay? Which rightfully so. I have seen Trinity do Beyonce outside of Drag Race, so I know that it is possible. I've seen her do it very well, actually. So I can see why the girls will be shaking, because I will be too, especially if somebody's doing Beyonce. So the next day, the girls are preparing for Elimination Day. Trinity is saying that in her past season, she didn't really, try to make friends or anything, but this season, specifically, she is like putting forth that effort to make friends, which I think is a very smart decision, especially in the show where they are literally voting for you. So having friends won't necessarily save you, but I mean, just being somebody's friend might sway that vote when they're like, who should I pick for? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pick my friend, is what I would think anyway. Akira is still a little nervous because last week she's, really feeling the pressure, which I mean, it makes sense. She was in the bottom last week, and from coming from the bottom next week, you have to prove yourself, or you're probably going home, or you're at least going to be in the bottom again. Jan is still, saying, I didn't say I wasn't in the bottom, I just didn't get bottom critiques. Like, girl, you were in the bottom. So the halftime show is starting. The opening performer is Ginger Minj, and she is doing Fergie. Her performance to me was fine. It wasn't anything special, anything outside of the box. I mean, she looked okay. She didn't look terrible. I thought her wig was a little too big. I don't know. She didn't necessarily read Fergie, which I guess it is kind of hard to pin down Fergie because she doesn't have like any signature things. But I feel like Ginger could have did a little bit more. I did think it was good that she found humor in it, but as far as the entertainment, I was pretty bored. Next up is Eureka doing Madonna, and I'm not really a big Madonna fan, but I do know a lot of her songs. I think Eureka did a fine job. It wasn't anything spectacular. Like, she did fine. Her garment, what she wore, looked expensive. She looked good. I also don't think that she put too much into it, which I don't know. I guess I don't know too much about Madonna, but I don't think she dances that much, so I don't know if you could have done too much, but I think she could have added a little more. Overall, it was a fine performance. It just wasn't anything special, and I'm probably gonna forget about it pretty soon. It was just like a dull performance to me. I expected more from Eureka, to be honest. Next up, we have Raja, and she is giving us some Diana Ross realness. I really like this performance, honestly. I think she really tapped into, Diana Ross's presence. Again, I don't know a lot about Diana Ross, but from what I've seen on stage and like her Dreamgirl stuff, that's what she gives. It's very, it's very large, very hair touch, big hair, that type of thing. Very sophisticated. I think Raja did a great job. Definitely my favorite performance so far. Next, we have Yara Sofia, and she is portraying Shakira. I didn't love this performance, I must be honest. I think she looked fine. I don't think she looked like Shakira. I think she looked like Yara Sofia. But I think she looked great. I think her hips, they're moving very Shakira-like. It's just that she just didn't embody any of Shakira. Like, Shakira is, a different personality, I feel like, than what she was bringing. It seemed like she was just thinking too much in her head, and it just came across as, very disconnected performance, just disjointed, if you will. I didn't necessarily like it. I think Yara could have definitely did better than that, I'm gonna be honest. After that, we have Scarlet Envy portraying Katy Perry. Similar to Fergie, she doesn't have any like signature dance moves, so I would have tried to put a little bit more on it or something. It was fine. It wasn't a bad performance. She actually did kind of look like Katy Perry, and she was giving like Katy Perry things. It was just fine for me. It was just average. It wasn't anything exciting, but it wasn't bad. It was okay. Next, we have Sonique portraying Steven Tyler. I actually liked the performance. I think she did really well. She embodied the character. She was, it felt like a different person. It didn't feel like Sonique. It felt like she, was definitely embodying the character of Steven Tyler. Even though it wasn't really a performance. I mean, she wasn't like dancing or anything. She was basically just moving her body in the mic. But it felt authentic to that character. So I think Sonique did a really good job. Next up, we have Jan portraying Miss Lady Gaga herself. I think Jan did a really good job, especially for the beginning when she was playing the piano. Like, that's such a Lady Gaga thing, to play the piano and like put her leg on the piano, like do all this crazy stuff. That's kind of like Lady Gaga's gig. So the fact that she was doing that and so committed to it, it was enjoyable to see. I won't lie. I think the dance moves left a little bit to the imagination. I think they could have been a little bit more Gaga, but I think Jan did commit to the dance steps, and I think she just overall had a very good performance. It was a good night for Jan. Next up, we have our girl Kyria C. Davenport portraying Prince. I actually didn't hate his performance. It was fine. I think she kind of looked like Prince, and you can tell she was giving those Prince-isms, but I do think that she held back a little much. Like, when I think of Prince, I think of Prince like jumping off the stage, like, having his guitar, high energy, sweating, like, moving, doing, all these different things. I just think that maybe she didn't know too much about Prince, which I don't think is the case, or maybe she just felt like, that was inappropriate, or I don't know what she thought. All I know is that it was a little bit laid back for me. It wasn't, anything exciting. I think she could have gave it a little bit more. But I think it was a fine performance. Definitely wasn't the worst of the night, but it was kind of like middle ground. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't great. It was fine. Next up, we have Pandora Box portraying Carol Channing. I think it was a fine performance. It was Pandora Box being silly per usual, just doing like silly little movements, like old people stuff. It was older for me. Carol is a little bit, past my generation. It's before I was even watching TV. She was just, before my time, so I'm not too familiar with her. I do think it was very Pandora Box. She stayed true to herself. It was very silly, very goofy. It was fine. I think she looked okay. It wasn't spectacular. Again, I don't know any of her music. I didn't even know she performed at the damn Super Bowl. But it wasn't my favorite performance, but I can't say that she did bad, because she did commit to the whole character, and it was silly and goofy like herself. So it was a fine performance. It just wasn't my favorite. Last and definitely not least, we have Miss Trinity K. Bonet portraying the Beyonce. And I have to say, I really think she did an amazing job with this performance. It was spot on. I mean, everybody already kind of knew that she was going to do a good job, but damn, she did a good job. It was perfect spot on. She had the ferocity Beyonce has. It was that same presence. I was impressed, honestly. Even though I knew she would do well, I didn't think it would be so crisp and so on, and so perfect. It was a really good performance. I don't have any faults with it. I think she did really great. It actually did blow up on social media. Like, I seen it all online. Like, everybody's posting it, saying that, she broke the Beyonce curse on Drag Race, which is basically the curse that no one has ever portrayed Beyonce in a flattering light for them. Not even flattering for her, but flattering for themselves. You don't have to be flattering. You either have to be funny, or you have to be good performance, or you have to convince somebody that she is Beyonce, or you are Beyonce. And I don't think anybody in Drag Race history did it as well as Trinity K. Bonet. So definitely hats off to her. I think she did an amazing job, and it was easily the best performance of the night. Next up is runways, and first on the chopping block is Miss Ginger Minge. I actually like this look. It was very it was nice for Ginger. You know, it was I love the color. I love her hair combination with it. I think the garment was well made. I think Ginger looked probably the best she looked all season. I think she did a good job, honestly. And I usually give Ginger a hard time, but you know, this time I can't fault her for anything. I think she did definitely a fine job. So I have to give Ginger a 2. Next up is Eureka, giving us some cowboy realness with this frill look. It's not my favorite, I must be honest. At first, when I first saw it, I was like, damn, I kind of like this. But then the more I looked at it, I was like, nah, I didn't love the hat. I like the hair. I just didn't think the frill on the thighs was, I don't know. I don't think it was flattering. It just was fine, but I actually did not like it. I think it was made well, but it wasn't my favorite. I think I'm gonna have to give my good girl Eureka a boot. Next up is Raja, giving us a Cinderella frill look, which she looks beautiful in my opinion. I think, you know, Raja looks very, very good in this whole garment. She has really been killing it this season, and this week is no different with this runway. It's just spectacular. It's like a Cinderella-esque fairy godmother look. I think it is well put together. Her hair matches nicely. It's just a, you know, very strong look for Raja. I definitely give her a 2. Next up is Yara Sofia. I don't know what to say about it. I don't really understand the look, honestly. I thought it was like giving a Japanese type of cultural look with the hair, but the rest of the outfit is like so many different things going on. I just don't think it was a very good look. I think if she just I think she has an editing problem when it comes to her garment. She doesn't know when to take stuff off and put it here. Sometimes it just looks chaotic to me a lot of times. So yeah, it wasn't my particularly favorite, so I am going to have to give Miss Yara a boot. Next, we have Scarlet Envy coming down the runway with a very spectacular frill look. I was really impressed by this look. I thought it was very chic and editorial. When she came around the corner, I was like, wow, Scarlet has really been stepping up her runway game this season, and this week again, like Raja, no different. It's amazing. She even stoned her lips. It was just a very editorial and chic look for her, and I think she deserves an absolute 2 for that. Next to the runway, we have Sonique looking very voluptuous in her frill look. I think Sonique, again, you know, she has been really doing a good job with this season with runway looks, and this week is no different. She looks amazing. I do think it is a little on the less editorial side. I won't say it's simple, but it was just like kind of like big boob, you know, drag lady. You know, it wasn't like anything spectacular. I think she looked amazing, but I don't know, from her last weeks, I'm just expecting her to be, you know, next level. I don't think it wasn't bad at all. I think it was, you know, a little bit below her standards, for me at least. I'm expecting Sonique to look amazing every week, and she does. I also want her to look cool, but you know, of course, this look gets it too. Up next, we have Jan in her Wild Wild West frill look. I really liked it. I thought it was a fine look. I mean, I think it could have used a little bit something more to make it a little bit more special, but I think the details on it, and you know, the way it was constructed and the colors and, you know, her whole theme, I think it was really well done. It wasn't my complete favorite of the night, but I think it was a very well put together you know, garment. It was nice. You know, it had a lot of attention to detail. It was, you know, look expensive. So, you know, I have to give my good girl Jan a 2 for this one. Next up, we have our good girl Pandora Box. The box, the rooks. So I hated it. I don't think it was made bad. I think it was ill-fitting and not flattering to her body at all. I guess she was going for like a porcelain doll look, but you need to be proportional. You know, you need to look nice. It needs to be fashionable. It just was none of those things for me. It just was ill-fitting. I hated the colors. Her hair was weird. It just didn't work for me at all on any level. So I'm gonna have to give my good girl Pandora Box a boot. Next up, we have my good sis Trinity K. Bonet in her very elegant pageant look. I really liked it. I thought it was a very nice look. She looked very expensive. She looked like she was ready to win a pageant. She looked, you know, very regal and very, you know, upscale. She just looked, you know, very nice to me. I will say I do think the dress was a little on the simple side, but I mean, it worked. If it works, it works. I didn't like her hair either. I think her hair could have been either bigger or slicked back or something. I just didn't like how it was kind of parted. I just didn't love it, the hair. But overall, I think it was a successful look for Trinity K. Bonet. So, you know, I'm gonna have to give her a good 2. Next up, we have my good Judy, Miss Akiria C. Davenport. Yeah, this look was it. When she came running one way, my mouth dropped. Just like the judges, it was just amazing. It was like this flower look where she was like a flower, and you know she had like the petal in the bottom. It was like green accent. It was just breathtaking, honestly. And it was like 3 looks in one. When she came up, it was like up, she lifted it open, and then it fell down into her dress. Like, bitch, she fucked the look. Definitely probably my favorite runway look of this season. You know, Carrie just really fucked it up for me, and I think I might have to give her my first shoot of the season. It was just spectacular. Like, really job well done, Carrie. So the judges give their critiques, and they find that RuPaul picks Jan as the winner of this week's episode, which I slightly disagree with. I do think Trinity should have won because her Beyonce was just so dynamic, but I mean, I do think Jan's runway was slightly better, but I think the performance was better overall. So I think, you know, Trinity should have still won, but you know, the fact that Jan won, I know she hasn't won ever, and you know how people will always want Jan to win and how she was always down. So I'm basically saying I think it was a good thing that Jan won, you know, give her something. So after the judge critiques, it was found that Akaria and Yara Sofia were in the bottom, which I disagree with, not even slightly. I disagree with that. I think Pandora should have been in the bottom. I just don't think her performance and her runway was good enough to keep her out of it. I don't think that was a safe performance. I think she looked bad, and I'm shocked Michelle didn't read Pandora for filth for that dress she had. It was ill-fitting. It didn't fit her. It just didn't look good on her. She didn't look her best tonight, and I think that Pandora should have been up for elimination. So the girls go back in the workroom, and Jan is of course elated, and which she should be that she won her first challenge, and the girls congratulate her. So then the girls move on to basically like pleading their case, you know, saying why they should stay. And Miss Yara, she's saying that saying why she should stay and things like that is beneath her. I'm like, girl, like they literally like several times like try to get anything out of her. They're like, so you think she'll be in the bottom? She's like, I don't know. I really don't. Like, bitch, you don't know. Say something. Like, give us something. I don't know why the girls feel like, even if you do think it's beneath you, for this particular thing, for this show, since the girls are voting for you, you should at least say something that, you know, wants to prove that you want to stay. Like, it's kind of like a respect thing. It's not necessarily, oh, this is beneath me, like, bitch. We want you to tell us why you should stay because it will sway our votes. You know, we are voting for you. We both see you guys as competitors, as strong drag queens. So of course you have to give us that little extra to show us why you should stay, or show us fire, or show us something. And she was just like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, bitch, okay, well, we know. Is how I feel like they felt. Bitch, okay, you don't know? Okay. Well, we're choosing you, babies. You're going home. So the lip sync assassin for the week turned out to be Miss Jessica Wow from season 2. I haven't seen Jessica in so long, so I don't even remember what her makeup looked like. So when she took off the little cock-a-doodle-doo thing, I was like, okay. But it was good to see somebody, especially like an alumni from season 2, come back as a assassin. I think it was a really good thing. But let's move on to the lip sync. It was fine. It was okay. I don't think it was amazing. I think Jessica Wow definitely won the lip sync. Jan was doing okay. She kept doing this little it was like this little robot looking shit. I don't know why she was doing that. Jessica Wow wins, and she revealed that the group chose Miss Yara Sofia to go home. I wasn't really sad to see Yara go home. I like her. I just think that she was the weakest and she didn't plead her case. So, you know, she should have went home. I just think it was, you know, it all seemed right to me. I don't think that she should have stayed because to me, she isn't necessarily growing. She just very, you know, all over the place and chaotic. So I don't think she is even a good contender to win. So anyway, when she went home, I was like, you know, that's rightfully so. It was sad because all these are amazing drag queens, but Yara, it was your time to go, baby. And you didn't plead your case, so. I want to thank you guys for making it towards the end of this video. Tune in next week for my next recap, and don't forget to hit the notification bell for more. This has been Prince, and I'm out.